Hello, gorgeous people. I am so happy to be here with you. I'm Dr. Erin. I'm the CEO and founder of The Higher Life, and I'm going to show you the way. And I'm going to show you that you know the way, that you not only know the way, but you are the way. And after today, you're going to know how to be happy. You're going to know the path to success. You're going to know how to create a life and a business that is sourced from your truth, sourced from your joy. You're going to live your $1 million life, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So, welcome to the higher life where your highest self knows the way. So, I want to begin and share with you what is the higher life? Why am I calling it the higher life? What am I speaking about? About 10 years ago, I launched my coaching and consulting and speaking business. And it wasn't called The Higher Life. It was just under my name, Dr. Erin. And I was a high performance expert. I still am, but it was all about high performance. And in the context of growing that business, I became the professional saleswoman of the state of Nevada. I earned lots of awards. I got myself into Success Magazine as one of the top 125 leaders to follow globally. All sorts of wonderful things happened. And a couple of years ago, I was on the treadmill where all my good ideas seemed to come, either the treadmill or the shower, right? And I've always co-created with God. I've always had God as my CEO, as my marketing, chief operations officer, so to speak, all the things. And God said, it's the higher life. And I thought, oh my word, the higher life is where high performers source from their truth, from this idea of figuring out who their highest self is. And I'm going to walk you through that. And then co creating with their higher power. And so the higher life is where I mentor passionate, visionary women who are creating a business in life with their higher power and really a place where their humanity is blending with their divinity. And that is what the higher life. So before I begin, I also want to share with you how I see and define a high performer. So you can see if you want to be one or not, and really understand what is this way that I'm going to teach you and what you're going to get as a result, and make sure that you know that you're on the right path. There's this saying that the worst thing would be to climb the mountain and only realize you climbed the wrong mountain, right? So we want to make sure you are journeying and making the ascent up your mountain. Not mine, but yours. Okay, so a high performer. I have studied high performance, the neuroscience of high performance. I'm also a psychologist. I've been a psychologist for 25 years. And I love studying high performers because of these four pillars of high performers. One, they have success. This makes sense. They're in the top 1 to 3% of their profession or the thing that they're passionate about, whether that's, sports or being just an incredible business builder, or it's kind of like the person that you see that's always the top five real estate professional, and every year they're just always at the top, and you're like, wow. And so they're experiencing that rare air of being an expert in what they do, and they're world class at doing it, right? Okay, so they're an expert at something, have gifts and talents, and then they use those talents and they have massive success. Okay, top 1 to 3% of success. So that's pillar one. So if you want to have success in that form of way, then great, you want to be a high performer. Number two, this is what's fascinating to me. They stay there at the top for long periods of time. It's like they stay there for decades, 30, 40 years. They don't crash and burn. They don't, all of a sudden go into the witness protection program. They have the ability to stay. They have staying power. And I find that so fascinating because there's so many of us that can be peak performers, but a lot of peak performers kind of crash and burn. And I don't take a stand for that, right? They sustain their success. So if you want success and you want lasting success, you don't want it to be a fluke, you don't want it to be something that takes you out, you don't want it to decimate your family, you don't want to forget the name of your firstborn child on your rise to success, you want to keep your marriage intact, like that's the second pillar. The third pillar of high performers is research shows they have these three qualities. And I think you're going to realize you want all of them. They have joy. Joy. They're not just asleep at the wheel, they're awake to their life. They have a sense of vitality and energy and just it's almost like what is driving them. It's almost like they're driven from something that other people aren't. They're not pushing and proving and pleasing and performing and perfecting, and they're being pulled. They're being pulled and it gives them joy. The doing the thing actually gives them more energy. So that's fascinating, right? They have joy, they are confident. So confidence, it's probably the thing that I hear my clients say they want the most. I just want to be confident. I want to be able to trust myself that I can keep the promises I make to myself. I want to bet on me. I want to bet on me. I want to know that I've got my own back. I want to be the person that I say I want to be. I want there to be integrity there. I don't want there to be incongruence. I want it to be in alignment. So they're confident. So joy, confidence, and last they're energized. They have the energy. So the doing all the things does not take their energy. This is interesting, right? Okay, so that's the third pillar. They have joy, confidence, and energy. And last, and this is probably my favorite, high performers have all of this success while enjoying world-class relationships and health. So they do not have success at the expense of things that actually matter. Therefore, it wouldn't even be success if that were the case. So I take a big stand for this because, as you can imagine and see, success while losing your way on the things that actually matter in life isn't success at all. Success is also very individually defined. So the higher life is where you are living your highest life. This is going to be very important. This it matters what you want and how you define success. And so let's get busy. So one of the things in the higher life is, I think it's really tapping into like, why? What is this all for? Um, I want you to really think about what do you think is the purpose of your life? I have decided this big question, what is the purpose of my life? The purpose of my life is to think God's thoughts. Now, what does that mean? Well, if God is love and I am created in God's image and you are created in God's image and we are creators and we are created by the creator and the creator is love, the purpose of my life is love. Purpose of my life is to think God's thoughts. But I really want you to orient to kind of what is your North Star of what do you think your purpose is? Often your purpose is not necessarily what you do for a living. It's not your business is not your purpose on the planet. I don't believe. I don't believe we were born here to grow a business. I believe we were born here to live the purpose of our lives. And in doing so, a lot of us choose to build a business. And my wish for you is that your business is one of the highest expressions of your highest self. That for you, the way that you run your business and running a business actually allows you to feel like you are reaching and optimizing your potential and joy and service to others, right? I will just say one of the greatest exercises to find your purpose on the planet that I have found. It's so simple. I want you to ask yourself two questions. One, what lights you up? And two, what breaks your heart? You will likely find at the intersection of those two questions your purpose on the planet. It's kind of the thing that you want people to speak about at your funeral. That's called mortality motivation. And the greats always begin with the end in mind. The greats live with massive intention of who they want to be and what they want to experience in this life, how they want to be of service and give in this life, and who they want to be doing so. So what lights you up? What breaks your heart? What breaks my heart is people that struggle with unworthiness and anything that limits themselves from living a life that they are absolutely in love with. And I think sometimes, a lot of us find our purpose from our greatest pain point or the thing that we've struggled with. So really look back on your life with that too. That was my biggest pain point. 14 years ago, this week that I'm filming this, I woke up in jail. Really, when you're an alcoholic, which I was at the time, it's not really waking up, it's coming to. And I woke up and I came to in jail and I had been driving under the influence. And you can imagine how much I had lost my way for that to happen. I was a PhD psychologist with a thriving practice. I was married to the love of my life. I still am. We had 3 gorgeous children, and I was enslaved. I was held captive before I ever made it to jail. Do you know what I mean? 14 years ago, I was clinically depressed, postpartum depression. I had become an alcoholic in 1 year. And this exact strategy that I'm sharing with you today is the exact thing that brought me from there to being in captivity, quite literally, to setting myself free. And my mission on the planet is setting the captives free. So you see how they're all kind of tied together? I love this quote from Oprah. She says she has never told God her dreams or her plans. She has always asked God, "What do you want for me?" She says, "God, tell me what the answer is, and I will be obedient to the call. The true secret to my success is I live in God's dream for me." So I'm going to show you how, because that sounds wonderful. And again, I'm here to show you how. So this is how. Okay. So first we have to define who your highest self is. This is your wisest, truest, most embodied, most integral self. And what I want you to do is I want you to pause this after I give you this cue. I want you to pause this video and I want you to brainstorm all the words that describe you if you were being your highest self. Who is she? What words describe her? Maybe she is loving. Maybe she is patient. Maybe she is aligned. Maybe she is confident. Maybe she is generous. Maybe she's successful. Maybe she's, you see, all the words, and just brainstorm all the words that would define and describe you being your highest self. These aren't goals, they're qualities, they're characteristics, right? They are values. This is your value system. So write down all of those words, and when you're done, please come back. Okay, now that you're looking at all of your gorgeous words, and I want you to do something kind of difficult. I want you to pick 3. I want you to pick your top 3. I know it's awful. I know. You don't have to, but generally speaking, if you have, 3, maybe 5 kind of core words that describes your highest self-identity, that's really helpful in what I'm going to be teaching you how to do in terms of how to use these words. So my 3 words are I am fit, free, and aligned. And I know what those words mean to me. Fit. I know to me that means I'm emotionally fit, physically fit, spiritually fit. For some reason, I really need to stay physically fit in order for me to stay spiritually fit. It's just the way it goes for me. So I know what being fit means in my life. I want to be free. My highest self is free from all sorts of things that would block me, free from believing the lies about me, free, that I might even tell myself, free from. And I'm free to call in all the abundance that I desire in this lifetime, free to be me, free to achieve, free to love, free to see, and then aligned. I am aligned. Okay, so you've got your three words. This is your highest self identity. You've probably all heard this idea that success is an inside job. That's what they mean. Success is an identity process. You will only have a level of influence and income to the level of your identity. I'll say that again. Your income and impact will be limited by your level of your identity, what you think of yourself. So, we've got to get you in alignment with your highest self. So, I'm going to give you my equation for happiness. You could call this an equation for success. You could call this an equation for self-worth. Whatever you want to call it, it works for all of the above. And it's two simple things. You want to write this down. Alignment plus embodiment equals happiness. You're welcome. I've solved all of the problems of the world. We have the equation for happiness. Okay. Alignment plus embodiment equals happiness. Alignment plus embodiment equals success. Alignment plus embodiment equals self-esteem. So what do I mean by this? Alignment, what does that mean? And what are you aligning to? Alignment means you are aligning to your highest self, those three words. You're aligning to your purpose on the planet. You're aligning to your higher power. You're aligning to your goals. That's what you're aligning to. That's your North Star. That's what your compass is, your soul's GPS system. You're aligning to that. You're aligning to who do you want to be and what do you want, right? Who do you want to be and what do you want? So that's what we're aligning to. Once we determine what that is, then we need to embody that. Now, embodiment is just a fancy word for making your body move, to take your body and move. So you're going to figure out what you want to be and what you want, and then you're going to go about and be her and do what she would do. And my friends, you are going to have what she desires. Because you're going to be her. Do you see? You're going to be happy and successful and free and aligned because you're going to be her. So I'm going to give you a silly example, but I just want to show you how simple this concept is, but also how profound. And I think you will agree how accurate. So if one of my values is being patient, and I am impatient all day long with the people in my life, it is going to be hard to dig myself. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I value being fit and I eat terrible food, terrible junk food, and I never move my body and I don't do what fit people do at all, it's going to be really hard to like myself. And by like myself, I mean like myself. I don't mean have worth on the planet. Your worth was established at birth and nothing has changed. That's established. I'm talking about, are you going to like yourself? Are you going to have confidence? No, you're not. So you've got to behave your way into different thinking, much more than trying to think your way into different behaving. I'm going to say it again. Behave your way into different thinking, much more than trying to think your way into different behaving. When I just, had a desire 6 years ago to become a keynote speaker, I did not just sit there and say, I am a great speaker. No, because I wasn't. I had to behave my way there. The first thing I did was I hired a speaking coach and I got really good at speaking. And then I spoke a lot. I spoke 44 times my first year. And now I'm a paid keynote speaker that gets to travel all over the country. But I had to behave my way there. I had to do the thing to get the confidence that I'm good at the thing. I didn't try to wait around to feel confident to do the thing. And I certainly didn't wait around to feel confident about doing the thing if I wasn't good at doing the thing. Okay? If you want to be disciplined, guess what you need to do? You need to be disciplined. If you don't know how to do the things that you're wanting to do and be the way you're wanting to be, that's when you hire mentorship. I didn't know how to be a great speaker, so I hired a speaking coach. If you don't know how to be disciplined, you're going to need to learn. It's just a skill to learn. If you need to learn how to be emotionally regulated, you can hire someone to help you with that. You can learn, you can read, you can study how. If people have a world-class marriage, how? How do they do it? You can learn. Everything can be learned. This is such good news. Now, if I value being patient and I'm patient all day long, I have a chance of liking myself, don't I? I have a chance of being like, okay, I kind of dig myself. It's very simple. It's very simple. All right. So, what I want you to realize is your highest self knows the way. You do not need a guru to tell you what the way is. You know the way. I just pulled it out of you. Not only do you know who you want to be, but you also know what you want, what you really, really want, what you desire. They're in you. You know this. You just need to listen. So I'm gonna teach you my strategy to actually listen to your highest self, to your higher power. And to me, it's this idea of when God moves, I move. Just like Oprah said, she waits for God to tell her and then she goes. God tells me, name it the higher life. I go and name it the higher life. God says, ooh, make a journal called God is my guru. I go and make the journal called God is my guru. I'm offered a business opportunity. I run it by my higher power. We make a decision together. When God moves, I move. So this is the strategy of like, what, how do you do this? How do you hear? How do you, this is not just something that's available to the lucky people. This is my system. I call it honor the nudge. And it's just fancy. It's just a fancy tech, methodology for something very simple. This is how you do it. This is how you ask God and get answers. You stop, you drop down and take a look around. And what I'm saying there is you drop down into your body. You get still. You pause and you listen and you wait for the nudge. And the nudge is the thing that God is telling you. You wait for the nudge and you do what the nudge says and you repeat that forever. That's how you do it. That's how you listen. That's how you co-create with your higher power. You honor the nudge. And when you're not getting the answer, I call it you're in God's waiting room. And none of us like to be in the waiting room. I understand. There have been so many times I'm in the waiting room and my friends will be like, "Are you in God's waiting room?" I'm like, "Yes." And they say, "Oh, okay. Hold the line." And when God moves, I move. That is how you do it, my friends. You stop, you drop down and take a look around, you listen for the nudge, and you do what it says, and you repeat forever. That is the way. You are the way. One of the most profound ways that you can kind of tap into this in those quiet moments is you can give God a keyword or a key phrase or a concept that you would like an answer about. You could this is in my journal, God is my guru. You could ask God, God, what would you have me know about? And insert whatever it is. Your highest self, your higher power has answers for you. You just need to ask and then listen. God, what would you have me know about this thing called success? What would you have me know about discipline? What would you have me know about money? What would you have me know about love? What would you have me know about worry? What would you have me know about my body and my health? It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful process for you to stop and ask questions and then take directions. It has been an absolute joy to be with you and share this incredible system that helped take me, like I said, 14 years ago to being, from being locked up by my own pain to being one of the happiest people I know now and being ultimately completely free. There are several ways you can work with me, mentor with me. You can do a free call with me and we can talk about what it is that you're looking to, you know, do or achieve or feel or embody. And you can schedule a free consult with me at consultwithdrerin.com. You can hire me to speak. You can hire me to be a speaking coach at drerinspeaks.com. And most importantly, head over to thehigherlifestyle.com. This is where I have curated all of my books, services, and products that I use to live the higher life. Thehigherlifestyle.com. You'll also get a freebie there, which is my new success codes. And it's the 5 success codes to build a life and a business sourced from your truth in the new way we are, where we are not pushing or proving or pleasing or perfecting, or we are being pulled and we are living the higher life. I wish you everything you wish for yourself. Be blessed and be successful. Bye.